All right, what's up, everybody? Daily video lesson is going to be a little intense today because we had an intense market day. I made around 13 grand. I want to go into every single trade, what I did right, what I did wrong. Now 79,000 on the month of August, but I'm also prouder of several students. Mark Crook made 25,000 today. Art of War in my challenge chat, he made 10,000. Let me just highlight a few of these guys. Josh Rivers made 11,000. JP Smith made 500 bucks in a minute and a half. Papa John made 4,600. Evan Shunk made 17 grand. Captain Doc made 94.92, nearly 10 grand today. Here's Art of War. Gave back a little. I think he was up like 12 grand earlier. But this is insanity. This does not happen all the time, but the stock market is hitting new highs. So literally you can make like a monthly or even 2 months worth of salary of a normal job in a day if you are prepared. Unfortunately, most traders are not prepared. Most traders are not making 79,000 in a month. By the way, I'm donating 100% of these profits to charity. All my trading profits this week and probably even next week are going to go to the victims of the California fires. The firefighters, we're going to help feed them and their families because they're working literally around the clock fighting these fires. And we're also going to support several charities that are helping animals and several charities that are helping, over 100,000 people who have been evacuated and now they're living in temporary shelters. They need food too. So all my profits are going to that. Very proud to be able to focus on my students. I trade in order to teach. So the 13 grand today, yes, it's good, right? That's cool. But at the same time, I probably could have made, 5, 10, 20 times that if I focus only on trading. But I'm not interested in that. I like passing down these lessons. I want more people to do this. So I'm very proud of so many of you. Like, keep tweeting me, keep messaging me. I have something very special that before I get into my trade review, September 4th, we're doing another all-day live trading. I'm going to post a link to this right under this video. Look how excited I am in the video. And it's true. I am so excited. This is going to be in less than 2 weeks from now. And you basically sign up for the mastery. It's a one-time thing. It's a one-time payment. And you get 12 masteries once per month. So I'm really excited. Last time we did an all-day live trading, and I was, what was it? RVVTF was the play. And I bought it. It was right here on this first green day. And the next day, I didn't sell it right at the top, but I made 20% overnight, but it actually turned out to be like a 35% winner overnight. I didn't have the patience perfectly, but as you can see, it didn't do much after that. But that was a perfect first green day OTC. We're going to get into first green day OTC today because there's a lot of plays. But again, I know I'm going to get a lot of questions. There's going to be one link underneath this video if you want to join me on September 4th and 11 other sessions over the course of the year. And there's a whole bunch of bonuses too. But click the link, check it out. Even when you click it, it doesn't obligate you, but at least just check it out and start learning. I want more students sending me testimonials like this. And I'm sorry I'm not mentioning everybody. These are just a few people that I saw message me near the end of the day when I had some time to actually look. It was a crazy day of trading. But congrats to so many of you. Literally keep tweeting me, even if I don't mention you in these videos. I watch, I learn, I really appreciate the feedback. Trader Chad says just finished the 30-day boot camp. If you're a new trader, there isn't a better investment of your money. If I would have tried to learn all this on my own, it would have taken me months. Amazing job, guys. And thank you for that, Chad. And everybody else, Trip, he says, like, don't walk, run right now, get the 30-day boot camp. He made like 350 today. So let's take it trade by trade. Today, crazy day, crazy day. Normally, August are not that crazy, okay? Tim Grittani, who's made over $3 million this year, he's taking the whole month off. He's on vacation. And I think he's probably still checking in. I wouldn't surprise me if he's doing a few trades, but he's definitely not trading big. AXIM was my first trade, first green day. News this morning spiker. Positive news about their antibody test. It has spiked 3 days in a row before, once and twice. And, lately, though, the trend has changed. Some people said, like, okay, you bought it. I get it. Former supernova. news. Okay, I understand your buy, but why did I sell? First of all, I, had a solid profit. I made nearly 3 grand on this. And in Tim Grittani, I know that he doesn't look at his daily profits, like he turns off his profits. For me, I'm the opposite. I look specifically. And if you look at most of my trades, I'm trying to make 2 or 3 grand on a trade. Sometimes it's more, sometimes it's less. But when it gets into that zone, I don't look back. And also, AXIM, I mean, it had 3 green days back here in May, 3 green days back here in July. But last time it tried to spike, I think I bought this day too, and it finished lower. So today, even though it finished higher than where I bought it, I actually sold it right near the top in the 90s because it hit my target. So on every single trade, you should go in with a target. How do you figure out the target? You look at the past history, and you also look at your own trading. And I know for many of you, if you're just starting, you don't have that much history. So look at my history, look at other people's history, and you try to judge. And then you build your own trading history, and then you judge. Not every play that I'm going to talk about is right for everybody. Some people can only make 1 trade per day. So they're like, oh, Tim, you're trading so many times, I can only make 1 trade. Okay, so learn from my 8 trades today and see which one you liked best. Maybe you don't like any of them. Maybe you're a short seller. I have a lot of videos about short selling too. You have to find what works best for you. But for me, it's a lot of these small gains. So AXIM was my first trade of the day. SHMP, I was looking for a morning panic. This was a recent supernova. It spiked up here multiple days. It spiked up here multiple days. But at the same time, this is also a frustrating stock. And me and several other people were frustrated. Even though I had profits here on this day on August 11th, it was a breakout and it finished at its lows. And that, I really can't think of another OTC stock that has done that. So that makes me immediately cautious on any future trade. And that's part of the reason why, on Friday, it had the big spike and I was selling it. I think I was selling it right here or here. No, I think it was here. I was in it for the morning spike on Friday and I sold it right here and it kept going. So I played it way too cautiously. Today I went for the dip. Got the dip, but guess what? Another new trend that has been happening lately, the 11 a.m. bounce. Whoa, whoa, the 11 a.m. bounce. Whoa. If you understand that the morning panic dip buys are not necessarily bouncing at 9:45 or 10 a.m. Eastern anymore, recognize that 11 a.m. Woo! It's spooky, right? I don't know where that voice is. I've lost my mind. I've been on my laptop all day. Give me a break. But leave a comment underneath this video if you understand that a lot of these bounces are happening right at 11 a.m. Like literally to the minute. Like it's crazy. Or I guess this one was 10:56 a.m. Or I don't know, whatever, around 11 a.m. But leave a comment, say, I love 11 a.m. bounces, because that tells me that you understand that you have to adapt to different patterns. It's not just about, buying the panic and necessarily getting the bounce immediately. I did not have enough patience on this one. I will admit it. I had a small profit, but I said, look, I wanted the 15s, and, frankly, I would have gotten the 15s had I waited till 11 a.m., but I'm just not going to be aggressive on a play that has, frankly, screwed me over and screwed a lot of people over in the past. So I was very cautious. Then I jumped to BPSR because this one, I actually like this chart better. Not just the 2-day, but the daily chart. This one broke out past 30 cents a share from the May highs and then also the early August highs. So 30 should be really big support. And this is what is so maddening. It's like so many newbies are like, I just want an exact number to buy at and an exact number to sell. The market doesn't care what you want. This isn't an exact science. So this might have been a nice multi-day breakout on Friday, and theoretically it should have gone up even more today. But when it came down, it just kept going lower. It had a little bit of a bounce, but not much. And I actually tried to add to my position because I was so secure in that multi-week pattern. I was like, oh, this definitely is going to bounce at 30 cents. And guess what? It just didn't. And you can complain about it. You can whine about it. You can be confused about it. No matter how you slice it, it did not bounce. You got a little bit of a bounce here at like 2 p.m., but that was just weird. The whole morning there was no bounce, and sometimes you just have to accept that. So even though I added to my position, and I said, like, when I added, I was like, okay, let me try to be patient and wait for the 11 a.m. bounce. I adapted because it was not showing any signs of bouncing whatsoever. And I was just worried like my gains were going to turn into a loss. You don't have to wait for a loss in order to exit. You know, some people are like, okay, I'm going to be in the trade. Either I'm going to have a nice solid win or a nice solid loss. For me, I have such experience and know-how with these patterns, and I'm not trying to be cocky. I'm just trying to help you understand I'm experienced. When a stock is not acting right, you know, forget about the 11 a.m. bounce. Like, and this one did not have an 11 a.m. bounce. 11 a.m. came and went and was actually hitting new lows. But right in here, there was just big seller after big seller pummeling the bid. And I was like, something is not right here. So when in doubt, get out. And I protected myself. You don't have to lose $1,000 when you start getting freaked out for whatever reason. For me, it's experience. For you, there's a lot of different reasons. Don't feel bad. Simply say, hey, when in doubt, get out. Or if you're unsure and you don't have a position, when in doubt, stay out. It is good to trade scared. That makes trading less scary. Think about that and say it out loud. Trading scared makes trading less scary. If you're always cautious and you're always like, what is this stock trying to do? If you're always thinking this stock is going to try to screw me over somehow, if you're that cynical, it really helps you protect. Obviously, sometimes I get out too soon, but as you can see by my now nearly 6 million in profits, getting out too soon still makes millions over time. And here are some of my DSGT plays. There are actually 3 of them. The other one went down to the bottom of the list for today because I had a typo. When I put out the alert, I said DSFT. I was rushing. I'm sorry about that. But these were, I corrected it. So when you correct it, it changes the order. But there were 3 DSGT dip buys in a row. And this is where I really excelled today. Even though I totally missed the run up from Friday, 1 cent all the way up to nearly 30 cents. Congrats to a lot of you who either made money on Friday or made money this morning. I missed it. And I wasn't depressed about it. I just said, you know what? I just missed it. I'll wait for my setup. So for me, I like the morning spikes. I was busy with the other plays. Otherwise, I would have taken advantage of this morning spike here. But I do like intraday panics. And this doesn't look like a panic, just given how much this stock, was choppy over the course of the day. But it dropped from 27 down to 22 here, and I took this first panic. And here's where some questions come in that I get. Like I usually say, look, I want to dip buy the first big panic because that usually leads to the biggest bounce. This wasn't that big of a panic, but it was enough for me to get in and out, and I got a little bit of a bounce. So I took that, made roughly 1,000. It was the second panic that actually was better. And this was when it dropped from basically 25 down to 19. So 6 cents a share. This was only 5 cents a share. This was 6 cents a share. And this was at a lower price point. So it's a bigger percentage panic. And, even though I dip bought the first panic and sold it, a lot of people who dip bought this first panic aren't as quick as I am. They're not a sniper. They just hold and they hope and they think that this thing's going to $1. They listen to the promoters. I'm in and out, right? I trade like a sniper. So I protect myself and then I could take a bigger position. And that's what I specifically said in the alert. I said bigger panic, this time bigger position for the bounce. And this turned out to be my best trade of the day. And then I did it one more time down here, down to 16 cents. This was actually the third panic. And I got a little bit of a bounce, but not much. And then, there was a 50% bounce in the afternoon, but I'm not really interested. I like those, inefficiencies where you get the quick panic due to stop losses, due to over-aggressive longs, due to over-aggressive dip buyers. And I just buy into max panic. I wasn't looking to trade it 1 time, let alone 3 times. But when there's the intraday panics, I take advantage of it. And it was a nice stock to make, just a few cents a share. Like, in case you ever wanted to know how to make, $3 grand, I bet bigger. That's basically what it came down to. And I made 4 cents a share, nearly 20%. And just to put things in perspective, I mean, people who invest in mutual funds or hedge funds, they would love to make 20% over the course of a year. That would be one of their best years ever. For me, this is a few minutes work, and the same can be for you if you utilize your small account to your advantage. That's what trading like a sniper is all about. You can't buy 2 million shares or 5 million shares or 10 million shares, right? You can't put millions of dollars behind this trade. But yes, you can make 1,000, 2,000, or 3,000. Or I probably could have even made like 20,000 if I really wanted to size up. CIDM, I got some questions on too. And by the way, DSGT is not trading at 9 cents after hours. These late prints always confuse newbies. Newbies get so freaked out. They're like, Tim, I thought you said OTCs can't trade after hours. Why are you lying? I'm not lying. OTCs, sometimes a few orders sneak through, but this is not even a 50% drop. This is a late print, and it screws up the chart, and it screws up newbies, and it annoys me and wastes my time. So please, do me a favor. Every time I say this, there's probably, I don't know, 500 videos where I say ignore the late prints. It did not close well, but it also didn't drop 50%. On to CIDM is another one where I got a lot of questions. Why would I buy this midday spike? Why? Obviously it failed, so I was wrong in buying it. But you have to think about risk reward. When I bought it, the stock had already spiked a little bit from basically 97 cents to 99 cents. The news had just come out, Stocks to Trade breaking news. They were talking about their new free streaming network. Similar news has spiked this stock in the past. If you look at it, it was a former supernova. I was actually long this day in the ones. I did not hold to the sixes or the fives or the fours or the threes or even the twos. I sold it and I made like 15% right here on this first green day. So I underestimated it. But now it's right back down to $1 a share, and oftentimes former supernovas can run again. So I bought the stock. It was already up. The news was already out. I'm not trying to predict anything. The only question was, could it spike? Okay, I said, let's see if this can pop. And I said the goal is to make 10 to 20%. And if you do quick math, I'm buying the stock around $1. My goal is to sell it at $1.10 or $1.20. If I'm wrong, I say cut losses if it goes nowhere. Not cut losses if it panics. Cut losses if it goes nowhere. And mind you, before I bought the stock, before the news hit, it was trading at 97 cents. So that is my risk level. I might lose 2 cents a share, max. If my upside is making 10, 15, 20 cents a share, and my downside risk is loss of 2 cents, that's good risk reward, especially when the news comes out on a former supernova. I know that it's midday. I know that this stock hasn't been hot in a while, but sometimes these stocks pop really quickly, and it's worth the risk. And frankly, again, I trade in order to teach. Because I know I'm going to do a video lesson every time I make a trade, I don't just trade for money. This is a good example of buying a former supernova with breaking news and seeing how far it can run. It is no different than AXIM, which was, one of my biggest profits of the day, except the news just happened right near the market open. It's the same kind of strategy, former supernova with news, how far can it run? But AXIM ran more, maybe because it was near the market open, even though it faded. And CIDM did not. Either way, I had profits on both. But whether I made 500 or lost 500 doesn't matter. It's basically a scratch. The whole goal was, could I make 10,000? Or sorry, I had a few thousand shares. Could I make $1,000? Could I make $2,000? And the answer on this was no. There was a giant wall of sellers at $1.05. And I encourage all of you to watch my Learn Level 2 DVD where I go over Level 2. There's also a category specifically for video lessons on Level 2. And you need to be able to see when there's a wall of buyers or a wall of sellers. I would not trade without Level 2. I get that question all the time too. BRTXQ, I was not looking to trade another play. I was frankly exhausted from the 7 other trades, but I made my 8th trade of the day because it pulled me out of retirement. I always think of myself as a retired trader. I will only come out of retirement if there's a play that's good enough. This stock was spiking. There's rumors of a buyout. It has a history of 2-day spikes, nice multi-day, multi-week breakout, and an intraday breakout. And before I bought it, some people said, how did you know it was going to break out? It already broke out. It had already gone from a penny to a penny in 5/100ths of a penny. I know it's so tough. I'm not really great at trading stocks right around a penny a share. I prefer if this were 10 times or 100 times the price. But it's a bankrupt company. That's what the Q at the end of the ticker is. It had already broken out 5%. I got it on a nice little dip here at a penny, and then it just kept going. And frankly, I probably should be holding this overnight, even though it's a 30% winner into the close. First green day OTC with buyout rumors. Who knows how high this can go? This could go to 2 cents or 3 cents. But again, I was tired. And I said, decided to play it safe overnight. I'll probably regret this when it gaps up tomorrow. And literally, I sold it and I thought that it was going to keep going. But I wasn't 100% sure. It's not ideal. And frankly, as you might be able to tell in this video, I'm just exhausted. So you can turn trading into whatever you want. I said, look, I'm tired from today. 13K on the day. Just going to lock it in and say thank you. Video lesson coming tonight. I even predicted my video lesson. I predicted exactly what I would do because, again, I don't just trade for profits. I donate all the profits to charity, and I trade in order to teach. I envisioned this video lesson as I was making these trades. So every single trade that I make specifically has some lesson involved. Here, why did I take profits? Because I was tired. Why did I try CIDM? Because it's a former supernova, and if I had been right, it could have run more, and it was worth the risk. Why did I dip buy DSGT? Because it was the perfect morning panic several times in a row. And frankly, I'm just not going to leave money wasted. It's basically like finding money on the ground. I'm not going to necessarily win every time, but these are my patterns. So I also missed not just BRT XQ not holding overnight. I missed the first green day on GAXY. This will probably test 3 cents tomorrow. Might even gap up and break out. So I missed that. I probably should be long that. I also missed, what was the other one I was watching? The crazy one. Oh, GPV. Why do they always have these complicated tickers? GPVRF. Third green day. Normally I don't want to chase it, but it finished right at its highs. I'm sorry to a few short sellers. I know a few short selling chat rooms that are just getting clobbered on this because, again, most short sellers are just ill prepared for the risks that they take. If you memorize patterns and you say, oh, third green day, it almost always is a good short. Well, this is the time that it's not. And so this whole run up is a short squeeze. Props to longs who wrote it. I'm not great at, riding short squeezes. The short sellers, get angry. They think that I'm targeting them, even though they don't realize they make themselves targets of everybody else just by being unprepared. But this is a giant short squeeze, and I don't know how high it goes. I'll just wait for a potential dip buy. LCDX, also a giant short squeeze. I know a few other short sellers. Short sellers are losing a lot of money. I do encourage you to, call out any short seller. Ask them hey, show me every trade that you're doing. I'm just curious. All my top students and I show all our trades. Short sellers like to just show end of day made 20 grand, end of month made 300 grand, but they don't show all the losses. They don't show their multiple accounts. They don't show their locate fees. They don't show the risks that they take. They'll never show you their position sizes openly either. So LCDX is a short squeeze. Third green day. This one actually started fading into the close. So this one might actually panic first. GPVRF looks like it has more gas before it eventually sputters, as they all do. But I'll just wait for my morning panics. So the lesson from all these trades, I did not intend on doing 8 trades today. But when the opportunities came about, former supernova spiking with news, recent runner intraday panicking, I'm going to take advantage of it. And, 13 grand on the day, all going to the California fire victims and animals. And I'm proud to teach you. Hopefully you can learn from this. Congrats again to so many students. I got to go. I got to get some sleep. But also I'm going to post one link for my market mastery if you want to join me all day so that you can see how I'm trading in the morning. You can see if I'm staying disciplined and not trading midday. You can see if I'm going to trade in the afternoon. September 4th, mark your calendars. And also, if you click this button and you get into my market mastery, you get 11 more over the course of the year. It's the best way to learn. So I'm excited. I'll see everybody in the chat room tomorrow. Cheers.